Hello again, everyone. It's Jim here with another video update. It's been a little while, so I thought I'd check in with a few thoughts, see how everyone is doing, and just report on a few things that I've been doing. First of all, let's see, where should I start? Yeah, I know. I did, some people probably will find this amazing, but for 10 days, I did a little experiment. I had breakfast for 10 straight days. Yes, I did. It's an idea I've been toying with for a while. I wanted to see if maybe there was something better than my OMAD lifestyle. As much as I have always said I love the OMAD lifestyle, I was wondering if maybe I'm missing out on something by not having another meal. And I wondered, I have read that fasting is a stressor in and of itself, and I just wanted to see what would happen if I had a second meal. Would I feel better? Would I have more energy? Or just what would happen? I was more out of curiosity. Wasn't expecting anything huge out of it, but I did it. So what I did, I had breakfast for the 10 days. So I would eat my normal meal, which is around 6 p.m., and then I'd get up and have another breakfast somewhere around 6 or 7 a.m. Before work. And the breakfast consisted of, this is not a huge breakfast. It's just 2 to 3 eggs and 1 or 2 sausage patties. And basically, I didn't change my overall daily energy consumption or macro profile. I just essentially pulled a little bit of dinner up to breakfast. I didn't really have a plan, but overall, I pretty much ate about the same the same amount for the day, but I had some breakfast. And as a result, after why I stopped doing it is after 10 days, I just sort of got tired of it. I came down in the morning for breakfast one day, and I'm like, oh, again, I got to make breakfast. It just became sort of a pain in the ass. And I've said many times I'm lazy, and I like the freedom of the OMAD lifestyle because it's simpler and there's less hassle involved. And so I fell back on that. I said, you know what, I'm not having breakfast anymore. And I gave it up, and immediately I felt relief. So here's what I did notice. I did notice, for whatever reason, I started over those 10 days that I had breakfast. I told you I didn't eat more calorically, but I've gained a little weight. I gained like 2 or 3 pounds, and I don't know why. I don't know. My body was reacting to this extra food. I'm sure it wasn't that I gained, fat mass or anything like that. It was just probably my body somehow adapting to this change. And I'm sure if I really wanted to, I could have dialed it in and corrected for that change if I wanted to make it a habit of having breakfast. But I'm sure I could have dialed it in so that I didn't gain weight, but by changing up, my dinner a little bit or whatever, or maybe just giving my body time to adapt. But one observation is that I did gain weight. I didn't feel, when I first started doing it, I felt like I was cheating. I felt like, wow, I get to eat again after it seems like I just ate 12 hours ago. This is fantastic. I felt like it felt like I was cheating, and it felt good. I like to eat, and so eating more often. It was great. That sort of wore off. That was kind of in the beginning I felt like that, but the deeper I got into the 10 days, is more like a chore rather than feel like I was getting away with anything. Um, I didn't notice any kind of extra energy during the day. Uh, in fact, one thing I did notice is sometimes during the day I felt, and this I never feel it, but I felt like hungry at certain points around noon or in the afternoon. Um, I felt a little like hunger, and I never feel hunger, even when I do OMAD, even right up to minutes before when I'm eating. I'm anticipating my meal a lot, but I don't feel like a hunger. But a few times I noticed, during this breakfast experiment, um, I was hungry. So I noticed that, and I don't consider that a positive thing. One thing I will say you might chalk up in as a positive is I noticed on many occasions I seem to be sleeping better, more restfully, more longer and deeper. And I remember on a number of nights having really deep, vivid dreams that I, you know, definitely had during that period. And I, since I've been now off the breakfast routine, I'm not having them anymore. So I can't explain that. I mean, maybe that might have to do with the stress or the cortisol or whatever, but I did, on average, I'm going to say it wasn't like really noticeable every night, but there were several nights when I just would wake up and say, wow, I really slept restfully. And man, those dreams were so vivid and so deep. Um, I don't know how to explain that, but I enjoyed that. I mean, that felt good, but overall, it wasn't enough for me to continue with the experiment. But anyway, I did that, and like I said, once I ended it after 10 days, uh, I felt better. I felt relieved that I don't have to keep making breakfast, and I didn't have the hunger during the day, and it's kind of back to my normal routine. Actually, I feel better overall. Uh, so I don't know. You don't know unless you try it, And I'm an advocate of doing an experiment. N equals one. You know, doesn't hurt to test it. I tested it, and I'm back to where I was. I'm back to my OMAD carnomad lifestyle, and I'm feeling great. Staying on the topic of diet, um, I will. I've made another change now after my breakfast experiment. I've decided recently to go to, I'm going to say, a ribeye centric diet. And what I mean by that, I don't mean that I'm just going to eat ribeyes. That's not it. I have been eating ribeyes. I love ribeyes. They're just really tasty, and I love the fat. I love the general what a ribeye brings to the table. But up until now, I've been having ribeyes, let's say 2 or 3 times a week, and then I kind of didn't want to overdo it with a ribeye. Uh, I guess mainly just to keep some variety, and maybe to keep the cost down too, because frankly, if I get the good prime ribeyes, grass fed or whatever, they're more expensive. But what I decided to do, because sometimes if I'm eating other kinds of meat that maybe aren't as don't have the good fats that I like that I find in a ribeye, um, I'm eating more lean, and it's maybe I eat more. I think I just have this feeling that I have to eat more if I don't get the fat that I want. So I decided ribeye is going to be the mainstay of it, all of my meals. One ribeye, and And so that's what I've been doing. I think I'm on day 2 or 3 of that. And this is an experiment. I know I'm going to love it. But so I have one ribeye. I cook it in a sous vide, and I sear it with a torch, and it's heavenly, really. I just can't say how wonderful that is. But I do like variety. So I'm not going to be, let's say, I'm not going to be ribeyes for my entire meal. I like a little variety. So I'll have another 1 or 2 side dishes, and by side dishes it could be it could be some pork or some beef or some lamb. I mix it up for a little variety, and they'll be prepared a different way. So I like to have a few different kinds of meat going. So that's what I started doing, and I feel good about that so far, because it just seems like it's what I want, and so I figured, why fight it? I love the ribeye, so why not have one a day, a ribeye a day to keep the doctor away? Who knows? But so that's the latest on what I'm doing for diet. I didn't have a whole lot to bring to the table today. I did have some thoughts I wanted to share in terms of, on this channel many times I've mentioned in terms of weight loss that, I've stressed many times listening to your body is important, and that during my process, I tried to learn how to listen to my body. And I thought I would just expand on that a little bit today, in a different way. I mean, when I was listening to my body, what I originally meant was during fasting, I could just kind of listen for signals on how long I could fast. If my body was okay with it or not. I kind of just also listening to my body in terms of how much to eat. I kind of let my body decide. If I eat real slow and then wait for the signal, make sure I can receive the signal on how much is enough to eat. I don't want to undereat. Of course, I don't want to overeat either. And so this is mainly what I'm talking about. But if you can expand on that, really, and I think maybe for anybody you should do that. And what I mean by expanding on it is that if you think about it, what's in our mind. If you're on a weight loss journey, you have a goal in mind, a mental goal, an emotional goal, and that's to get to a certain weight. You're unhappy with where you're at, and you want to change. Now, in order to be successful on that goal, you're going to need your body to cooperate. Okay, you're not going to be able to willpower your way through it. And you can try. You might have some limited success, but listen, your body is much stronger than you, and it's if you try, let's say, some kind of approach, like I call it, the Biggest Loser approach. Chronic caloric deficit coupled with excessive exercise. Your body's going to only tolerate so much of that, and then it's going to call a halt to it. I mean, and by halting it, it's going to lower your metabolism, and it's going to make you feel bad, and it's going to take that as a signal. Everything you do is a signal to your body. What you eat, what you put in it, what kind of stresses you have in your life, how much exercise you do, all of these are signals to your body. It's giving your body information, and it reacts to that. It learns, and it develops patterns and set points. How I treated my body for years before I learned how to eat properly. My body got used to it and adapted, and it was able to make a lot of fat, and it was able to store a lot of fat. And this is how my body protected me from disease. Fortunately, I was able to get real fat, rather than the alternative. If it couldn't find places to store the fat, would have been like a massive. It would have been I would have been sick, diabetic, or had heart disease. But I was fortunate to come through after so many years of dietary abuse. I was able to come through because my body protected me. And your body will protect you from a famine too. Let's say the example I gave, chronically undereating and chronically putting on stress, the stress of a lot of exercise, which I call the biggest loser approach. Your body's not going to go for that. And eventually you're going to stall and plateau and start to regain weight eventually. And so where I'm going with all this is that you need to be in concert with your body, in harmony with your body. So that's kind of what I mean by listening to your body, is that you got to get buy-in, you got to get cooperation, and your body, the signals are going to be in your weight loss. Okay, if everything is going well, you want to lose weight and you're having success and it seems rather easy, okay, this is a good sign. Your body's cooperating and what you're doing is working. You can continue that. It started working for me when I started eating less often and I changed my diet. It was working. I couldn't believe how well it was working, so I didn't change anything. Later on, I added exercise once I felt better, but exercise wasn't the key to get the ball rolling. So if you're not losing weight, or let's say you stall and you're not losing weight, or you're feeling stressed, or you're not sleeping well, or you're not feeling well, these are signs that you're not in concert with your body. You're going to have to change something because you're not winning the battle, and that doesn't mean just give up. It means dig into it and find out what you need to change. Why is your body resisting? Is it the food you're eating? Is it how often you're eating? Is it are you exercising too much? Are you not getting enough sleep? Are you could be a number of reasons, but you gotta play with it. I think oftentimes we tend to overdo it, and we try to go too fast, because we want to lose that weight. We want to get to our new goal quickly, and we don't necessarily always give our bodies time. And so if you're not getting the results that you need, my first advice is to don't panic, just give it some time. Give your body time, because there's adaptations. Your body reacts to the information you give it, the food you give it, and the lifestyle you give it. It needs time to sort that out and to find a balance. So first, step one is give it time. And by time, I can mean weeks and weeks. I mean, don't rush it. If that doesn't work, then start looking into the food you're eating. I always stress the two big things for me were the food I was eating and the frequency. Oh, I forgot to mention, the other signal from your body is hunger. If you're trying to lose weight and you're still finding that you're hungry, that's a big red flag. Something needs to change, because you're not going to win that battle over hunger. So, that's something you've got to dig into. You'll kind of know when you've arrived at a successful formula when when you're not hungry anymore, when you can get to your meal and feel great, and not have hunger. You got to conquer hunger. This is another thing I've said many times. If you're chronically hungry, check into that. Check into what you're eating and how often you're eating. You got to get over that hurdle in order to be successful. If you're not sleeping, that's a signal. Maybe you need. If you're not sleeping, that's a sign of you're stressed out somehow. Either from, it could be from your environment or your family life, or even. And I found this to be, if I overdo it on the exercise, if I really get carried away with the running, the endurance aspect of it, or I run too often, I don't give myself enough breaks, that becomes a little stressful, and my body sort of complains, and I get sore, and I just need to take off 2 or 3 days and do nothing. When I come back from that, it's like I feel great. So doing too much is a stressor, and it doesn't help for health or weight loss or in any respect. So I guess that's the main point, is that listening to your body means, to me, working in concert with your body and working in harmony with your body. I mean, it's your mind and your body, it's the same thing, number one, but it's just, you have to pay attention to the signals. And the signals are, your approach is going to have to change if you're hungry, if you're not sleeping, if you don't feel well, if you're not losing weight, those types of things. You're going to have to rebalance or re-examine the formula that you're using if you run into those types of roadblocks. So yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to say that you're not going to win the battle against your body, with willpower. You kind of have to get cooperation from your body, or else you're not going to be able to get to the goal or to sustain once you get there. Your body can put up with so much, but then it will, once it becomes not cooperative and sends you the signals that it doesn't like where you're going, then you have to re-examine everything. So that's all I wanted to say today. Just keep this rather short. I wanted to thank my subscribers. I've got some new subscribers that are really enthusiastic and following, listening to all my prior videos and starting their journeys. It's been kind of exciting for me to see some of the developments in the comments from all the, not only the last few videos, but all of them. I see people now jumping on board and really starting their own journeys, and I love to see that. I hope they're successful. I hope they listen to all my advice, not just pick and choose. It's not like you have to follow my journey and do exactly every single thing, but you have to make it your own. I always say that. Take what sounds good from my journey and then adopt it to your lifestyle, and then hopefully have success with it. And if not, you're going to have to dial it in. But it's got to be something that you, in the end, are the navigator and the designer that's gonna make it work for you. So there's no getting around that. So that's pretty much all for today. I'll sign off now. Thanks again for everyone, all the enthusiastic supporters that I have, and commenters, and I hope everyone is doing great. Until next time, this is Jim signing off. Take care, everyone.